Hello everybody, welcome to another video and welcome to another unboxing. It seems I'm knocking these out fucking every week at this rate. But this is a MacBook Air. This is a 2011 MacBook Air, 1.7 gigahertz Core i5, 4 gigs of RAM, 128 gig SSD, and it's basically going to be my new work machine. Now, I was hired basically to be the Mac guy. All of my colleagues are they're either Linux guys or they're BSD guys. And given the increase in market share that Macs have been getting over the last few years, I was basically hired to be the guy that was the go-to for all Mac issues. But for the year that I've been working there now, I have had a bog standard desktop in front of me. So a normal tower. For the first 6 months, it was running Windows 7, which was just not very enjoyable at all. You know my thoughts about Windows. I can just about tolerate it for the normal day-to-day stuff. But yeah, it just got on my tits. So I wiped it and put Linux on it then. I was running Ubuntu for a bit and then Elementary OS for a little while. But it didn't really help me because people come through the door, they asked you to fix this problem, and you kind of sat there going, you wish you had like a machine to work on to replicate various things when you're troubleshooting, and not having an OS 10 machine in front of me, that's really difficult to achieve. I can't take the Ultimate PowerPC Mac, the G5 Quad, into work because it runs Leopard, and a lot of issues people have are specific to El Capitan or Sierra or the newer versions of OS 10. Just checking the frame, yeah, it's pretty good. And I can't take the PowerBook in, which is essentially my main notebook, and it will be. My PowerBook, the Ultimate PowerBook G4, I use it here as my main notebook. It's either sat on the desk or I'm downstairs working on it or whatever. I can't take that in for the same reason as the G5 Quad. It runs Leopard, and it's too slow, to be honest, to do any serious sort of work on it. So this was pretty much the best option, in my opinion. I weighed up everything and I thought, well, this is a good machine for a very good price. I'll go on to it in a minute. But it's a MacBook Air, so I can put it in my bag, I can cart it around. It's not going to bother me because it weighs next to nothing. And it runs the latest version of OS 10, it runs Sierra. It's fast enough, it's got enough storage, it's got an SSD, so it'll be nice and fast nipping around the OS. I can hook it up to monitors, and that's pretty much all I need. So for that use case scenario, it's absolutely the perfect machine. So we've got the documentation here, Apple stickers. I don't believe this is the original box that laptop came with, because on the box I had a look before recording. It says 2.2 gigahertz Core i7. Which this machine definitely doesn't have. But the Core i5 that's in this machine, although this is a 5-year-old machine now, it's still it should still nip around the OS and do general stuff absolutely perfectly fine. It's still a decent little machine. Obviously, everybody knows that the performance of notebooks has slowed down over the last 7 years. Ever since the switch to the new Core i5 or the new Core i based processors, the kind of performance increases you've seen have been minimal. This is the cute little 45 watt power adapter with MagSafe, of course, and that is everything. So yeah, before we go any further, oh, hang on, oh, check that out. Comes in its original like plastic covering, and the seal is still unbroken. So they must have been like ninjas taking this out. I love people that take this much care of their stuff. We do this in work as well. For when new Macs come in, basically, we like to give people the machines as if they were brand new and no one's ever touched them before. So what we do, when we're like pat testing them and stuff, we just kind of peel the side off and then slide it out. So that's what this person must have done. So it basically keeps the whole plastic wrapper intact and stuff. But oh, yeah, I forget every single time how beautifully crafted these machines are. So solid and so light, especially compared to my 17-inch PowerBook. But yeah, before I ramble any longer, guys, I'm just going to basically move the tripod, find a bit of a better angle, and let's talk about this guy. So here we are then, it's a few hours later. Basically I've just got everything set up and working. There is something I haven't told you about this machine. Um, I bought this for £150. Now this is a machine that is worth about 400. I got it for £150. And the reason why is because the screen has a bit of an issue. I believe it's the LVDS, basically the display data cable. I believe that's being pinched by the hinge. We'll take a little peek at it in a minute. But basically, if you hold the screen at certain angles, you'll get loss of color, stripes running down the display. Basically, what you'd expect a pinch cable to do to an LCD. I have had a little peek because obviously I don't want to release this video if this machine is completely fucked and I need to send it back. But yeah, I'll just show you in a minute. But I got this machine for £150, guys, and I've just had a look, as I said, and it's not as big a deal as I was expecting. And the reason why I got it was because it's a £10 job at most, if it is what I think it is. And if it isn't, if it's something more complicated, then it still doesn't really matter, because at 90% of the time this machine is in its clamshell mode, hooked up to two external monitors. So it really, either way, doesn't really bother me that much whether I get it fixed or not, or whether it is fixable or not. But from what I've seen so far, it just seems like a pinch cable, which means I should, in theory, be able to have this machine working completely as it should for £160, which is just crazy. So here is the MacBook Air. Still, although it's it's an aging design now, it's a good 5 or 6 years old. It's still a great compromise between portability and I/O, especially when you look at what Apple have been doing, and other manufacturers with their Ultrabooks, what they've been doing with I/O and slimness. They're basically running crippled Core M chips, and just they're basically turning them into glorified tablets at this point. So the MacBook Air, although it's an old design, and although it's looking a little bit on the chubby side, I never thought I'd say that compared to some of its newer brethren, it is still a good compromise between I/O and performance, because you can get these completely decked out still if you go to the Apple Store with a Core i7 processor, and it will do nearly everything you'll want it. So we got a Thunderbolt there, a full-sized USB 2.0. It seems ridiculous I have to point out that it's full-sized. And an SD card. That is something that 2016 MacBook Pro owners are missing dearly. And then on this side, MagSafe, and that... Oh, I pointed the wrong one then. MagSafe, another thing they're missing massively. And I don't think I can ever buy a MacBook that doesn't come with MagSafe. And I'm saying that now, I just don't think I can do it. The number of times this little connector has saved my bacon is unreal. It is a superb little connector. And I think Apple are just mental for removing it from their newest machines. Another USB 2.0 and a headphone jack. So although when this machine came out, it seemed quite crazy how little this machine had in terms of I/O, in 2016, with the move to wireless well and truly reaching its conclusion, I guess, that has everything you need basically at arm's reach. In work, I'll be using the Thunderbolt to connect my main monitor, and then the USB 2.0 for connecting to a little dock, and that dock will provide my second monitor through one of those weird display link things, along with wired Ethernet, keyboard and mouse, and yeah. So port-wise, this is perfect. I still have a free USB port on that other side there as well. So it's really, really great. And yeah, so opening it up, we have one of the best keyboards I've ever had the pleasure of using. Christ alive, I can't speak properly today. I've ever had the pleasure of using on a laptop before. This one, I don't know if other people feel the same way, but I feel the MacBook Air keyboard is slightly better than the unibody MacBook Pro. So like the pre-Retina unibody MacBook Pro keyboards. They have ever so slightly less travel, and it just feels a little bit more solid on the corners. The unibody MacBook Pro keyboards have a tendency to wobble if you don't press them like head on, dead in the center. So yeah, that's a really, really lovely keyboard. The trackpad's still, to this day, the best in class trackpad in the entire notebook industry. Just no one can even touch these multi-touch glass trackpads. They are in another league. I don't understand. I use notebooks, PC notebooks, on a daily basis, and I just cannot understand how they are so awful. The trackpad on a non-touchscreen laptop is your main function of interfacing with the machine. So if the trackpad is shit, then your experience is shit, basically. And the trackpads are one of the reasons why I absolutely adore Mac notebooks over PC laptops, because they are just so amazing. The trackpad is just one of Apple's greatest innovations, in my opinion. It's just such a nice trackpad. And then up here, if I just move you up, we have the 13.3-inch 1440 by 900 LED backlit display. Arguably the weakest point of these MacBooks. They look alright if you're looking at it dead on, but as soon as you kind of point your head at any sort of angle, it washes out really, really quickly. So here we are then. As you can see, I have 2 accounts on this machine, one home and one work. Basically, when this machine is in work, as I said, the lid is down, so I have everything to open up as I want it across 2 monitors. So the resolution is obviously different to the resolution of the display. So if I'm constantly closing things and opening things and stuff at different resolutions, it gets really, really irritating. So I basically just have the work thing to act as my profile for when the lid is closed and there's 2 1080p monitors running. And then I have my home account, which is basically for when I'm just using this machine as a laptop, not connected to anything, and just kind of by itself. As you can see, I've got mail and Twitter to open, and that's it. Whereas on work, I've got it to connect to various network drives and stuff like that. I don't want that crap popping up when I just want to use the machine as a laptop. So do I have zoom in? Yes, I do. That's convenient. About this Mac, you can see it's running Sierra 10.12.1. I believe that's still a latest version. I believe 12.2 is still in the beta stages. MacBook Air 13-inch 2011, 1.7 GHz Core i5, 4 gigs of RAM, and Intel HD Graphics 3000. Of all of the upgrades that they introduced with the 2011 models, I do believe the graphics were a little bit of a downgrade. The 320Ms that I had in my 2010 MacBook Air, if you remember that machine, infamous for being the machine that had beer tipped on it 5 seconds before recording a live stream. I do believe the 320M graphics that little machine had is better than the HD 3000 graphics. But for nipping through the OS and stuff, I mean, it doesn't really come up because it's recording in 24 frames a second. But it's really super smooth. All the animations and stuff is super smooth. So yeah, I don't really know what more to say about this. I bought this as a utilitarian purchase as opposed to a luxury item, if that makes sense. It was slightly a weird little process because I am such an excitable person. Whenever I buy a new Mac, whenever I have a new Apple, any electronic bit of kit coming, I get so excited. But for this, for whatever reason, I needed it, so I bought it, and I just didn't get that excited about it. I don't know, maybe I'm just growing old or whatever, but I just kind of, I don't know, I just never really got super excited about it. So we're plugged in. I've just closed everything. We've got to run a Geekbench test, guys. I can't do any one of these videos without running a Geekbench test. And yeah, let's just see what sort of score we get, because I haven't actually run this myself as of yet. So we're all done, and moment of truth. 2133 single core, 4137 multi-core. This is Geekbench 3 in 32-bit modes, and that is a decent little score. And it got me wondering, because I remember when the 12-inch MacBooks first came out, something in my brain just ticked, and I went, that's really quite similar to the new MacBooks, isn't it? So I went to everymac.com, went onto the baseline Core M3 1.1 GHz 2016 MacBook, which in this country will cost you £1,250 before you buy all of the dongles you will absolutely need. And yeah, look at the scores, guys. Geekbench 3, 32-bit, 2311, 4474. Now, this is a machine you can get fully refurbished by a respected eBay reseller for £400. And for that, you will get full-size USB, 2 full-size USBs out of the box. You will get Thunderbolt support out of the box. You will get MagSafe out of the box. You will get a much better keyboard out of the box. And it will cost you less than a third of the price of one of these machines, which, although they're very pretty and everything, don't get me wrong, it has a beautiful display. You have one port to work with. You lose MagSafe, you lose your USB, you lose Thunderbolt, and you're paying over 3 times the price for a machine that scores the exact same as a 5-year-old machine. That just blew my mind a little bit. So yeah, for the price I got this, as I said, I got this for £150, guys. And as you can see, the screen is behaving completely normally. I can't even trigger the screen to go crazy. I'm trying. Oh, did it do it then? I think I just missed it. But yeah, you can basically see it's not an issue. It really is not an issue. I probably won't even bother repairing it, to be honest, because it's such a small issue. And I will just use this machine and go, yep, I managed to buy this for £150. So yeah, I'm going to take you off the tripod. That is basically all we're good for today. This is my new little work machine. I will still use the Ultimate PowerBook G4 as my main notebook for when I'm at home, because I just love that machine so much. I just cannot stop using it. But yeah, this is such a nice machine. And for the price I got it for, guys, this is one of, in the long line of awesome deals that I have managed to accrue over the years, this has got to be up there. I managed to get a 13-inch Core i5 based MacBook Air for £150. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this really long-winded, I apologise for how long it was, MacBook Air unboxing and overview. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.